Hey, Fiendish Films fans, I'm Mike Fitzgerald.
I'm Madeline.
Okay.
I've got nothing catchy today.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
All right, that's fine. Yeah, maybe we're just a little drained. Well, not creatively drained. From we just finished watching, and maybe that's a little harsh, but yeah, we just finished watching the 2011 film, The Moth Diaries.
Directed by Helen Mirren, who did American Psycho and the notorious Betty Page film.
And this was Madeline's suggestion.
Wait. Crap, I said Helen Mirren.
What?
It's not Helen Mirren, it's Mary Harron. Helen Mirren. She's the older actress.
Okay.
Should we start over?
No, I don't think so. Because I want to get through this movie.
Okay.
And this was your idea.
I'm sorry.
Yes, and I had earlier suggested we watch the Jeffrey Combs film, Would You Rather, which she's the huge Jeffrey Combs fan, or huge Jeffrey Combs fan.
I OD'd on Jeffrey Combs this week. I watched quite a few of his films.
Oh, okay. But no, so she chose The Moth Diaries. Do you want to summarize what The Moth Diaries is about?
I don't even know what it was supposed to be about. Jeez.
Okay.
It follows the main character, Jessica, who is played by the actress, let me make sure I get the name right, Sarah Bulger, who's most well known as playing Mary Tudor in the Tudors TV series. It's following her going to Catholic school, and there's a new girl at the Catholic school that she's losing her best friend to, and her circle of friends is slowly kind of disappearing, whether it's through death, being kicked out of school, having their parents drag them out of school, and it's slowly her becoming alienated by this new girl played by Lily Cole, whose name is Anessa.
Okay.
So that's, I guess, the premise.
All right. What about the vampire aspect of it?
Well, when I saw the movie, or when I heard about the film, it was put down as a vampire film, and there is a lot of literary references to Dracula, Camilla, and Jane Eyre. Most likely Dracula, and there's a lot of references to Dracula. But it never really said, it's not out there saying, yes, this is a vampire. You don't really see her hanging out at night or during the day. Outside, she has issues with water. She doesn't eat. And Lily, who is Jessica's best friend, who starts hanging out with her a lot, starts to become insanely weak. And it looks like it's pointing at being a vampire, but it really doesn't tell you if she is a vampire.
Well, I think it's evident that she's a vampire.
Well, they don't even tell you how Lily died. It's just, she's weak. And she died because she's so weak.
Okay.
You can become very weak without having a significant amount of blood loss. Maybe I'm just dumb. Maybe it just didn't spell it out clear enough for me.
Well, you can have a vampire in the film without them coming out, just because they never say vampire. In relations to the Anessa character, there's all the implications, there's all the evidence that Anessa is. They just don't say the V word. Maybe it was a purposeful thing they do, like some films avoid using terms to separate itself from other films, like, Walking Dead, they refer to them as walkers, they never say zombie. Maybe maybe it's an artistic decision where if we don't say
perhaps
vampire in relation to that character. I mean, they do, as you said, they speak of vampires, Carmilla and Dracula. So I have no question that Anessa was a vampire. I would have liked to have questioned. You spend the first half of the film questioning, wondering what's going, whether, well, it is implied, but you're not given direct evidence till exactly halfway in the film.
Right.
Which is a little disappointment for me. I would have liked the mystery. I guess in a way I was rewriting the film as we were watching it. And I think a lot of us in the group were going, it'd be interesting if Anessa was just creation of Sarah's character's, what's Sarah's character's name again?
Jessica.
Jessica's mind. But at the halfway point, it becomes clear that's not the case.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a
figment of her.
Yeah, it's not it's not a figment of her
trauma.
Of her trauma from losing her father to suicide. It's which is disappointing. I think that would have been a more. It would. I think I would have found it more interesting. This is a straightforward, yet it's very slow paced.
Very.
I mean, well, the story does take place over
a year,
a school year, pretty much, and it did seem slow. And I'm not saying it has to rush, but there's great length between events. And there's not a lot of, not much of Vanessa in the film. It's mostly, most of what you see is the result of what she's done. She's done. You don't see Anessa's actions. Everything's told from Jessica's point of view. Which would have led well to it being if Anessa had been a figment or a creation of her imagination, would have led well in having everything from Jessica's point of view. But yeah,
the end, like I was thinking the end would wrap it all up, and I would be going, okay, well that makes sense. And it would make the film, which does happen in film a lot, where it's like, well, I don't know what's going on in the end, it wraps it all up. The end did nothing for me at all. Like, there's still a lot just out there. There's a lot of questions. Marissa had a theory Mike's wife, that Marissa was a ghost. And that could have fit. I don't know. Yes, all the vampire stuff was there, but it, like the flashbacks to her in the early 1900s, but she was a ghost. Guess what? That would also fit. And it's based on a book, so I'm thinking that I need to get a copy of the book, because maybe the book will have more details and have a better wrap up, and it will explain things a bit better.
I will not read a book to try to understand a film. I do not believe the ghost theory. Numerous characters interact with Anessa and refer to Anessa, so I don't believe that.
No, but
I don't believe in that theory.
A lot of characters talk about Casper.
Okay. Yeah, there might have been that. I mean, maybe your theory comes from that last shot where you see Anessa as she was after. I'm going to tell you now. I've decided to give up on giving away spoilers. Anessa's destroyed. She's burnt, emulsified.
In Earth, like it, which takes you back to Dracula, but she died on that location, so there's really no need for her to be sleeping.
Well, I didn't really see clearly what she was in.
It was dirt.
Okay.
and leaves and stuff, and she's sleeping in it, which is like, yes, that's what Dracula did when he was moved from his home, but
she had to.
the hotel is where Ernessa was.
But if you go with the idea that they have to sleep in Earth, she has to be not on the Earth. She has to be in the Earth.
Okay.
That's. I think I think the confusing thing about this film is you expect there to be more to it. There isn't. There is. Unfortunately, we were looking for a mystery where there was no mystery. It was very clear to the main character Jessica that Anessa was a vampire. Not clear to everybody else in the cast. It was clear to me as the viewer. Anessa was a vampire. I just don't feel there was any greater depth to it. It had a lot of opportunities for depth,
and it hinted at like depth. Like when they're looking at the picture, Ernessa makes the comment, "Have you ever noticed how much we look alike?" And that's it. That's all we hear of that. And I'm thinking, is she some type of distant relative? Are we gonna? I even had the guess that she was gonna go all single white female and try to like take over her identity, and all of a sudden she was gonna start targeting her mom. No, they just leave it at that. They never mention that again. She just says it's like Ernessa. She's going out of her way to be creepy as hell.
Oh yeah, I mean the actress who plays her does an excellent role in portraying this tall, creepy girl.
Creepy.
But speaking of this scene, this is one of my favorite scenes because it was the least realistic scene I can think of. As you said, Jessica wants to save her friend Lucy. She says, "You, me, and Lucy need to just stay away from each other. I'll stay away from her too. You just what's." Something along those we should have nothing to do with each other. We should stay away from each other. And that's when Anessa says...
If I stay away from... Yeah, that's when she says, "Have you noticed how much we look alike?" And
then walks off. And which was... People don't let conversations end like that. She'd be going... I think Jessica would be like, it's like, what are you talking about? It's a thing I've noticed in... Not just in this film. In other films. Scenes ends with conversations ending in weird ways where you know, in real life, that conversation would have continued. Jessica would have followed her, what word she said, down the hall and asked, "What the hell are you talking about?" And Jessica never confronts Alyssa.
Or Ernessa.
Anessa. She
No.
never confronts her about who she is.
Which I thought, I think that would have solved a lot of problems almost. Like,
Yeah.
just saying, "Hey, I snuck downstairs and found your trunk, and I read a little bit of your diary. Can you tell me, like, why the hell you're doing this?" And maybe Ernesto is add reason. Maybe there was, like, maybe Ernesto would just say, "Well, because I love being creepy and tormenting cute brunettes like you." But nothing. You get nothing.
Well, I think I understand why Anessa's doing what she does. She's the classic vampire. And the film even establishes it when they talk about the literal vampires.
Yeah.
The vampires in literature and what they do. This is what they do. They desire an object, they destroy the object of their desire. It's clear as day.
But Jessica comes out and says, "She wanted me the entire time."
Jessica's full of herself. I don't think Anessa wanted anything to do with her.
But
I think Jessica is so full of herself. I lost my father. My father committed suicide. Everything's about me. My friend is spending time with somebody else. I can't deal with that. What's wrong with that? I almost, as I said, if it had been a creation of her own imagination, I could have appreciated that more because she was really caught up in herself, Jessica. Like she completely rejects Anessa before she has any good reason to.
She tried to talk to her in the beginning. She tried to talk to her. Remember when she almost seems to be putting out a hint of an invitation to a Greek class. And when she hears Ernesta playing the piano, she comes in and she goes, and Ernesta's like, "Oh, I don't really play anymore." And she goes, "Well, why? You're really talented." Like, there's an attempt to form a friendship there. It doesn't follow the regular formula. If it was when Ernesta was being a creeper at first, looking out the window and just being creepy.
Anessa loves windows. If
yes,
there's
Ernesta
a window,
loves windows.
Anessa can look out. She will be looking out the window.
But instead Jessica tries to talk to her and then decides this is going nowhere and leaves. But there is an attempt. Like,
okay, maybe that's the way when girls initiate contact to start friendships, and we'll get back to that because I have a question about that. Another thing, Anessa's leaves plenty of clues. She all but comes out and says she's a vampire. Anessa can play. She's classically trained in piano. You know, at whatever her age is. I assume we're to assume they're between the ages of, 17, 18, 19 in this school. Oh yes, I've studied in Latin, Greek. Later on we find she also knows German because many 19-year-olds are trying. 19-year-old Americans, because
I studied Latin and Greek in high school, and I'm learning German right now.
Okay,
do you think I'm a
No,
vampire?
do you? Okay, but you do not know that she's mastered. She's tutoring other people. Okay. Can you tutor other people? How about this? Okay, you learned what? Latin, Greek, German. Okay, I'm
working on German right now.
Okay, here. Okay, we'll just drop the German. I'm going to disprove this. Okay, tell me first in Latin and then in Greek. This is my dog.
No.
Okay, see?
Okay, see, I didn't say that I did very well in the classes. I mean,
I don't know how much simpler than this is my dog. So, but she's always like saying cryptic things. I used to do this before, or I used to play piano much more before blank, she makes it very evident she's a vampire. Okay, so I got a question for you. Does this film, is there something that I'm missing from my male objective perspective that a female perspective might have? I mean, did I miss something because I'm a guy? Do I lack a certain understanding of? Well, I know I lack a lot of understanding of women. Ask my wife. But does my perspective as a male prevent me from appreciating this film on some level? Do you get something from this being a female, with your female perspective?
Possibly. I have to say this movie's not getting a very good ranking for the overall, but the way that the girls were portrayed and how they interacted with each other, and I feel it was definitely directed by a woman. If this had been directed by a man, you would have had nothing but the cattiness and the, like, oh my god, did you see what Jessica was wearing? Like, ew. You would have gotten nothing but that. But the interactions between the characters, being girls of this age, I felt was very realistically portrayed. And that I can definitely appreciate in this film. It wasn't your typical, there are girls together and there's a way that they act in film. And it's basically If you look at film these days, women are not allowed to like each other. If you get women in a group, they are going to do nothing but try to kill each other, be catty as hell, and hate each other. Why? Because they're all girls. Or they all, you know. So, but this, it didn't do that, which I can really appreciate the interactions. The story overall, I think, was not all that great.
Now, I'm thinking of their behavior. Many of the points of the story emulate Dracula. Maybe the behavior of the characters is to emulate a Victorian era of behavior. The dress does. At night, they're always in those nightgowns. A lot of the dress does, and there's their proper educated behavior. And even when they do cut loose, it's still somewhat tame.
Yeah.
It is, you know, it's tame to certain standards. So maybe that was an artistic decision that or the writer's decision. They're gonna, yes, we are telling the story in the modern world, but their behaviors are going to.
Well, it's obviously a very prestigious school. These girls are clearly well off.
Mm-hmm.
Jessica's father was a famous poet,
Mm-hmm.
an author. So I never went to a prestigious school, but I do have met people that have, and there is a level of, like, you represent the school, and you're expected to act a certain way because you represent the school, and I mean, this is clearly like people from the 1 percentile, I would say, and I don't know, it's I liked that it was almost in a school, and they did do drugs at one point. And the craziest thing is Ernesta gets one girl kicked out by saying, "Throw that chair through the window." If this had been your typical film, all the girls would have been making out with each other. There'd be boobs everywhere. All sorts of crazy stuff. But it was pretty, contained and pretty tame. It didn't try to go out to be shocking. It was like,
I don't know. I don't feel this was a film for me. I did not. I mean, I enjoyed the visuals. I enjoyed the, the setups of some of the shots. Some of the creative visual ideas where it rains blood in the library. I remember a shot of her, a slightly angled shot of her running up the stairs. There's some nice artistic shots in there.
the cinematography and the color scheme is really well done.
But I don't know who. I mean, this film wasn't for me. Who was this film for? I mean, I feel like I wasn't the audience for this film.
I think it was geared more towards women, I could say. There's besides the dead father, there is one male character, and he's hardly in the movie, played by Michael from Underworld. I forget his name.
Okay. Was it Jason Speedman?
Scott. Yeah.
Scott Speedman, thank you.
Scott Speedman.
Who plays Michael, the half vampire, half werewolf from
he was barely in
the
it.
horror action series Underworld.
The movie was...
Which has a lot of more vampire action than the Moth Diaries.
I feel it's a lot more... It's definitely not towards the tween crowd. It's too mature.
It's the in-between crowd?
Or maybe, I don't know, our age, but it's not like it was that good, and I can't sit there and say, well, maybe it would be good if I was 12. Maybe I'd appreciate it more if I was 40. It wasn't that good, and I was expecting so much. And when I saw the trailer months ago, I wanted to see it so badly because I adore Sarah Bulger. I loved her in Tutors. She did Eleanor in BioShock 2. Wasn't a good game, but she did a great job. And I wanted so badly to like this movie, and it just...
I think it was slow, and at long periods of times where it is uneventful.
Yes.
I thought even the revelation that comes halfway through the film that she's a vampire, even though where the Jessica finally figures it out, even has that same experience with another of the characters, so we're clear it's not in her head. We knew the moment we saw her, she was the vampire. Even if you didn't see the trailer, you would know she's a vampire. Or, as my wife would said, she looks like Wednesday Addams.
The original.
The original Wednesday Addams had grown up. And, she had an awesome look. But she doesn't do enough. She doesn't appear enough. There is very little direct conflict. There's a conflict between the two characters over Lucy, but Jessica never even goes to Nessa saying, hey, I know you're a vampire and you need to stop killing my friend.
It's like two introverts fighting. And that's what it was. It was two introverts.
And then Nessa keeps bringing it back to Jessica's father's suicide, and I don't think that even plays into it.
No,
it doesn't even play into They keep bringing it up, and for some reason, when she destroys her at the end and afterwards, when she's being hauled off by the police for arson, she makes a symbolic gesture, and she's over her father's death, and you don't know why.
Anessa, they do a flashback. I think
who lost her father in the same way.
And she killed herself, which she's like this in the tub.
Yes.
And I was thinking two things. She either slit her own throat, or it was to cover up her breasts.
Yes, it was just to cover up her breasts.
Or she slit her wrists. I wasn't sure. The way the blood flow was, and I don't know how you're going to do this in film, but I thought she had slit her throat, and I just made that realization now that she probably slit her wrist as well.
Yeah,
But at the end, Jessica comments that she freed them both. And I was like, so did Ernessa want you to kill her? Did she purposely make your life a living hell so you would kill her?
Ernessa seemed pretty pissed when she was on fire. So I don't think...
No, she was on fire. She was just like, I'm on fire!
No, she had this, look, you burned me alive, It was, I almost
You're an asshole!
At the end, I actually felt bad for Anessa. Anessa's doing what she's supposed to do as a vampire. Jessica... I really did not connect with Jessica.
I didn't connect with anyone. I wanted to. I felt bad for Jessica. She was being completely alienated. But I did not connect with anyone on this movie.
We spent as much time with the vampire ghost figment of my imagination.
What?
Thread? I have no idea. Don't worry about him. Don't worry about it. Thread. As we spent as much time on those threads as we did with the, hey, that male teacher's going to get himself fired because he's coming on to one of his students. And that, we were so uninvolved in the film, we were thinking, he does make a move on her, but early on it's like, oh.
Direct move.
He shouldn't be doing that.
He doesn't even try to ease into it. He goes right for the kill.
But, she shouldn't be in a room. They shouldn't be in a closed room together.
He's only male teacher.
He says, well, get in my car so we can talk. Oh, they shouldn't be doing that.
Nope.
And he never, but he re-recorded. That subplot is more, has more action in it than the vampire plot. Okay, I got nothing from it. I'm not going to say I didn't,
The cinematography was great. I have to say, if there's anyone I fell in love with in this film, it was the cinematographer. Great art direction to this movie. The color schemes were great. The sets were absolutely beautiful.
Well, it wasn't a set. It was a location. It was a lovely location. But I think it's one of those things where you just you're just there. I mean, some of the rooms is like, hey, this is a great library. It's going to be hard not to shoot this right. I think anyone competent could make that look good. I'm not going to give this film too much credit for anything. I mean, there was a couple of really the only shot the only shot that I actually made a point. I mean, remember and thinking about it as I watch it was her running up a set of stairs, and it's just
I thought when she climbed out to when she's about to fall off the roof, that was a nice shot. And the beginning sequence for the credits of the lunar moth coming from the cocoon was really pretty.
Well, yeah, but
I'm trying to be positive.
I'm not trying to be negative.
Okay,
but
plot, horrible. Art direction, great. Camera angles, great. Location, beautiful. The acting, for what they were asked to do, most likely, I wasn't sure
when Lucy dies if Jessica was crying or if she was laughing really hard.
That's how Sarah Bulger cried in Tutors, too.
You can only do that so much.
I think it's just Sarah Bulger, because that's the same way she cried in Tutors, and I was sitting there going, are you hysterical? Like, are you laughing because your dad abandoned you? Or, like, it reminded me of the end of Kill Bill, The Bride, when she's laughing and crying at the same time. I think that's just her.
Okay.
I think that's just how she does it. That's her cry. I'm not going to drag her on about that. Lily Cole did a really good job at making sure I probably can't say
I don't know if Ghost Jim, stop sighing. Okay, I know. Ghost Jim did not enjoy the film any more than we did. Ghost Jim needs to stop sighing. It's very distracting. I'm trying
to keep him laughing.
Oh, okay.
Lily Cole was in the Imaginarium of Dr. I can't remember the name. It has Tom Waits in it. And she played the siren in a Doctor Who episode.
Oh, yeah.
She has a very, very unique facial structure.
She was great in that, yeah.
Yeah.
I remember that episode.
It has
a lot more attractive.
Judy Parfitt, who was in Dolores Claiborne. She did a great job. She's very good at being stern and kind of commanding an entire room with just a look. Like she was in Dolores Claiborne. It had
but I'm not going to watch this movie for
Juno.
her.
It has fetus fingernails.
It's got a
girl
school
mistress
in it. Whoa. And look.
But Judy Park.
And her ceramic gets broken. That was it. Because that meant something. It used to be
because it was
her husband gave it to her, and Jessica smashes it because she's upset.
But it's the same ceramic that she bled all over. And
yeah.
There was symbolism. There was probably some nice symbolism there, and I didn't even care because I was so bored out of my mind by that point. It has, like I was saying, it has fetus fingernails girl from Juno. I don't know the actress's name. It has a lot of up-and-coming actresses, young actresses in it. They did a really good job for what the film was worth. There wasn't anything where I would say, well, that performance was terrible.
Okay, so we don't know. As you said, it's based on a novel.
I feel like I need to read the book to figure
which may be more entertaining. I think for me, story-wise, and only story-wise, performances were fine, visuals were fine, but story-wise, I did not appreciate it as a film.
Me neither.
All right. So, Chris.
But that's what
I do like this. And the creepiest part, well, not even the creepiest part, but like the funnest part is when she was singing
to her about.
I think we should close with this because I just want to wrap this up because I didn't get anything more. So we're going to be a little.
Do you want me? I'm not singing.
You're not singing?
You can sing all
we
you
can sing
want.
together.
No.
Can
Ghost
sing
Jim can sing with you.
Okay. Ernessa?
Ernessa.
Yeah. If you want something, yes. I don't know. Go. We'll have a link below to the trailer, and we can figure.
How about we just tell them?
And I want to know which is creepier. Is it Lily singing this song or me? My mother, she but. Oh wow, I can't sing at all. Okay, watch the trailer.
Goodness.
God, even my own ears started to bleed at that.
Okay.
What?
It's the rhyme from.
This is from something?
Yes, from the fairy tale The Juniper Tree, which is from Grimm's Fairy Tales. It's actually one of the really morbid ones. It has cannibalism in it, mothers killing their own children type of thing.
My mother, Wow, I can't sing. She butchered me, my father. No, I cannot get a... Alright, we are going to wrap this up. I mean, did we miss anything? I mean... Is there anything that we've missed?
No.
Yeah. Alright. So, we cannot, unfortunately, recommend the Moth Diaries.
And I promise I will do everything in my power to make sure that Mike never sings on a review again.
Alright.